told you that the most effective billboard for illegal gambling in China is actually a 15-year-old kid running around a rainy pitch in Leicester.
I mean, it sounds completely absurd when you put it like that.
Right. But I want you, the listener, to picture a standard Premier League football shirt for a second. Just pick your favorite team, visualize the colors, the embroidered crest over the heart, and then that massive corporate logo right across the stomach.
Yeah, the one you basically can't miss.
Exactly. And to the naked eye, it's really just a piece of brightly colored polyester. You wash it, you wear it, you might spill a pint on it at the pub.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, definitely. But economically and socially, that specific patch of fabric it's one of the most fiercely contested, lucrative, and frankly, controversial pieces of real estate in the entire world.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we casually refer to it as sportswear, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is effectively a high-frequency trading platform for human attention.
A trading platform for attention. I like that.
Yeah, well, think about it. It's a multi-million-pound mobile advertisement. It runs around a pitch, broadcast to millions of people for 90 minutes straight every single weekend.
Which brings us to today. We are going deep into the fabric of these kids. We've pulled together an incredible stack of sources for this deep dive.
There's some really fascinating stuff in there, too.
Totally. We're looking at the hard financial breakdowns of the 2025-2026 Premier League season sponsors. We've got investigative reporting from BBC Sport, some really passionate fan blogs, and official community club announcements.
Yeah, it's a wide range of perspectives.
It is. And our mission today is to really unpack the hidden business mechanics, the global geopolitics, and those grassroots moral battles that are woven directly into the sheens of modern football.
It's a lot to get through.
It is. Okay, let's unpack this. Where do we even begin to understand how a simple sports shirt became like a geopolitical tool?
Well, we really have to begin by looking at the football shirt as the ultimate microcosm of globalization.
Okay, how so?
So if you want to understand how this highly local working-class community pastime mutated into a multi-billion-dollar global entertainment product, you actually don't even need to look at the billionaire owners in the boardrooms.
Right.
You literally just need to look at who is paying to put their name on the stomach of the players.
The sponsors.
Exactly.
So to understand the sheer astronomical scale of the modern sponsorships we see today, I feel like we need to establish a baseline first.
Yeah, we had to go back to the inception of the Premier League. Yeah. So the 1992-1993 season.
Oh, man, look at the archival photos from that era. You had Arsenal players running around with JVC across their chests.
Right. Aston Villa was sponsored by Meta Copiers.
And Blackburn Rovers had McEwen's Lager. I mean, these were local or at most, regional companies selling tangible physical products.
Exactly. It was a television you could actually plug into your wall or a pint you could physically drink at your local pub.
And the geography of those deals, from our sources, that's really the most telling metric here.
Oh, it's staggering. In 1992, the average distance between a Premier League club stadium and its main sponsor's headquarters was about 1,859 miles.
Which even then is skewed by a couple of international brands.
Right, because if you look at clubs like Sheffield United or Ipswich Town from that inaugural season, their main sponsors were headquartered less than a single mile away from the pitch.
Less than a mile. That's incredible.
It was a neighborhood relationship, the manufacturing business down the road, supporting the football club down the road.
It makes sense. But then you fast forward to the current 2025-2026 season, and that average distance between a club and its sponsor has exploded to 4,431 miles.
Yeah.
It's basically the ultimate gentrification of a neighborhood, just played out on a piece of polyester. The local butchers and the family-owned breweries, they just got completely priced out.
And replaced by what? International hedge funds, sovereign wealth airlines, global tech conglomerates.
Right. That gentrification is clearly driven by a fundamental rewiring of the audience itself.
Totally. I mean, back in 92, these clubs were broadcasting to a domestic market. So about 70 million people in the United Kingdom.
Right.
Today, the Premier League is broadcasting into hundreds of millions of living rooms across, I think it's 190 different countries.
Wow.
So a global tech firm isn't trying to sell a photocopier to a guy sitting in the stadium in Birmingham.
Well, and in most cases, they aren't trying to sell a physical product at all.
Very true.
One of the most glaring facts from the BBC Sport investigation revolves around Liverpool's long-standing sponsor, Standard Chartered.
Oh, this is a great example.
Right. They are this massive multinational bank, But if you are a lifelong Liverpool fan sitting in the UK and you walk past a branch on the high street, you generally can't even open a basic checking account with them.
Yeah, you literally cannot give them your money in that way.
Because their core consumer banking markets are entirely focused on Asia, Africa, and the Middle East.
Which goes back to the point that the fan in the stadium is no longer the target consumer.
Exactly.
The broadcast is global, so the brand strategy has to be global. Standard Chartered is paying tens of millions of pounds for visibility in Bangkok, Nairobi, and Dubai.
So the local fan in the stadium, the one who actually buys and wears the physical replica shirt?
They're essentially just an unpaid extra in a global television commercial.
That is so wild to think about. You're paying for the privilege of being an extra.
Basically, yeah.
So if the fan in the stadium is no longer the actual customer, the brands paying for that real estate must be operating on a completely different financial scale to justify the cost.
Oh, absolutely.
We are talking about astronomical numbers that have fractured the league into the elite haves and the desperate have-nots.
Right, and to understand that, let's look at the underlying supply chain first. Like the companies actually manufacturing the polyester.
The kit makers.
Exactly. The sportswear manufacturing market is basically an oligopoly at this point. For the current 25-26 season, Adidas dominates the landscape. They manufacture the kits for 8 teams.
Which is 40% of the entire league.
Yeah. And Manchester United's recent contract extension with Adidas is really the benchmark here.
The numbers on that are insane.
It's a 10-year deal worth a guaranteed minimum of £900 million.
900 million.
Yeah, so £90 million a year transferred to the club before a single ball is even kicked.
Just for the right to make the shirt and put the 3 stripes on the chest.
Exactly. And Adidas makes that money back by keeping the lion's share of the profit margin when a fan buys a replica kit at retail.
And that 90 million is just the baseline canvas. That's before they even sell the prime real estate on top of it.
Oh, yeah. The front of shirt money's a whole other level.
Right. So Manchester City commands 60 million pounds a year for the front of their shirt from Etihad Airways. And Manchester United commands the exact same figure, 60 million pounds a year, from the American tech and semiconductor firm Snapdragon.
And then, we have to talk about the sleeves.
Oh, man, the sleeves.
The sleeves represent a fascinating shift in broadcast economics. So clubs were legally permitted to start selling sleeve sponsorships during the 2017-2018 season.
And this wasn't just some random decision to monetize empty fabric, right?
No, not at all. As television broadcasts evolved, the cameras started pushing much tighter on the players for these high-definition close-ups.
Like during throw-ins or corner kicks.
Exactly. Goal celebrations, all of that. And when the camera zooms in that tight, the traditional digital advertising hoardings around the edge of the pitch, they completely disappear from the viewer's screen.
Right, you can't see the background.
So the only visible branding is the player's upper body.
Wow, so the sleeve is literally the only billboard guaranteed to be on screen during an HD close-up.
Exactly. Both Manchester clubs recognize that value immediately, and they now earn £20 million a year just for their left sleeves.
20 million?
Yeah, partnering with tech firm DXC and the crypto exchange OKX.
But wait, while the elite clubs are playing this massive high-stakes corporate game, there is a really fascinating disruption happening over at Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah, so if we connect this to the bigger picture, the traditional kit manufacturing model is incredibly inefficient for the fan.
How so?
Well, the brand, like Adidas or Nike, takes a massive cut. Then the retail distributor takes a cut, and the club takes a royalty.
Right, everyone gets a slice.
Exactly. And that layered supply chain is why a typical authentic Premier League jersey now costs an astonishing £125.
Which completely prices the working class fan out of their own club's identity.
Precisely. So Wolves partnered with a new UK brand called SUDU to completely short-circuit that traditional supply chain.
Okay.
Instead of licensing their crest to a global giant, Wolves and SUDU are essentially manufacturing direct-to-consumer.
Oh, that's smart.
Right. By cutting out the massive global middlemen, they slashed the price of an authentic player issue kit from £125 down to £58.
Wow. They radically lowered the financial barrier to entry for their community. And they're maintaining their own profit margins, from what I read.
Yeah, it is a brilliant piece of business mechanics, but, it remains a rare exception.
Okay, wait, stop right there for a second. Because the math you're outlining for the elite clubs is staggering, but it creates a massive logical problem for the rest of the sport.
What do you mean?
Well, if Manchester United is banking over £150 million a year from Adidas, Snapdragon, and DXC combined, the bottom 14 teams in the league must be going completely bankrupt trying to compete on the exact same pitch.
That's the core issue, yes.
So how are the smaller clubs actually surviving this financial arms race?
Well, they survive by leveraging the most lucrative, unregulated industry willing to pay a premium for their shirt space.
Which is?
And in the modern era, that industry is gambling.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because those smaller clubs aren't just choosing gambling money out of pure greed, right? They are practically forced into it by the league's own financial regulations.
Yes, the Premier League operates under strict profit and sustainability rules, or PSR for short.
Right, PSR.
Essentially, a club legally cannot spend money on new players unless they can prove they generate enough commercial revenue to cover the costs.
And if they breach those rules,
they suffer massive point deductions that can relegate them out of the league entirely.
Which is a financial death sentence.
Exactly. Which means the commercial director of a mid-table club doesn't really have the luxury of turning away a massive check for moral reasons.
Right.
If a betting company offers £10 million for the front of the shirt and a local family-friendly brand only offers $2 million.
Taking the lower offer could literally result in the team being relegated.
Yeah. The result is an absolute saturation of betting logos.
It's everywhere. Despite the fact that the Premier League is actually implementing a self-imposed ban on front-of-shirt gambling sponsors starting in the 2026-2027 season, 11 out of the 20 clubs right now feature gambling companies as their main sponsor.
That's 55% of league.
Exactly. And those deals inject a combined £101.1 million into the mid to lower tier clubs.
But what is equally revealing is who avoids this money. Because you will not find a gambling sponsor on the front of an Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, or Tottenham shirt, the so-called Big Six.
So is this just the Big Six playing the role of the, family-friendly Disney of football, refusing to associate their premium brand with vice?
Not at all. It is a highly calculated commercial strategy, not a moral one.
Okay.
Those 6 clubs run massive global retail operations. They sell millions of physical replica shirts to families all around the world.
Right.
If they slap a gambling logo on the front, they risk severe financial blowback. In several major international markets, promoting gambling is strictly illegal, meaning the shirts couldn't even be sold there.
Oh, wow.
Furthermore, millions of global fans would refuse to buy the merchandise for religious or cultural reasons. So for the Big Six, the lost retail revenue from alienating families would completely wipe out whatever premium the gambling company paid them in the first place.
That makes total sense. The elite clubs protect their global retail empire, while the middle and lower tier clubs rely on the betting industry just to survive the PSR regulations.
Exactly.
But the BBC investigation dug into the actual mechanics of who these gambling companies are, and it exposes an incredible geopolitical loophole.
Yeah, we have to look at the white label mechanism here.
Right.
If you look closely at the shirts for Bournemouth, Fulham, or Wolves, you'll see betting brands that you have likely never heard of.
Yeah, weird names.
Right. That's because many of these companies are headquartered offshore in jurisdictions like the Philippines, the Isle of Man, or Curacao.
Let's clearly define how a white label loophole actually operates, because this blew my mind.
Go for it.
Imagine a wealthy tech consortium in Asia wants to launch a sports betting platform targeting Chinese consumers. Now, it is illegal to advertise gambling in China.
Very illegal.
So, they go to the Isle of Man and find an umbrella company that legally holds a UK gambling commission license. The Asian consortium pays a fee to basically rent that UK license, slapping a brand new logo on it, say Asian Bet 88.
Right.
Because they are renting a valid UK license, they pass the Premier League's corporate checks and can legally sponsor a team. But a fan sitting in a pub in London can't even download their app or place a bet with them. They don't even operate consumer-facing businesses in the UK.
Because the UK fan is entirely irrelevant to their business model.
Exactly.
They are utilizing the English Premier League purely as a broadcast vessel. The matches are beamed into hundreds of millions of homes in Asia.
They're essentially bypassing the Chinese government's advertising censors.
Right.
They cannot legally buy a television commercial for gambling in Beijing, but they can pay an English football club £10 million to wear their logo, knowing that the match will be broadcast live on Chinese television anyway.
The Premier League has unknowingly transformed its primary asset into a digital Trojan horse.
A Trojan horse. That's exactly what it is.
It's a globally beloved, beautifully packaged sporting event that is being systematically utilized by offshore entities to smuggle unregulated betting advertisements into restricted foreign markets.
But while the primary targets of this Trojan horse are overseas, the collateral damage happening domestically in the UK is staggering.
Yeah, the local impact is heavy.
The BBC reporting showed that during the opening weekend of the season alone, UK gambling advertisements made 29,000 separate visual appearances across broadcasts, stadium hoardings, and player shirts. A young domestic audience is entirely bathed in betting culture.
And occasionally the players themselves become these really jarring visual representations of this regulatory conflict.
Oh, the story of Jeremy Momonga perfectly encapsulates this.
Yeah, that was striking.
He's a highly touted 15-year-old winger who made a senior debut for Leicester City. Now, Leicester's main sponsor is a cryptocurrency casino platform called BC Game.
Right.
Because UK law dictates that children under the age of 18 cannot legally wear gambling logos or promote betting products, Monga had to take the pitch wearing a completely blank shirt. Yeah.
Watching a 15-year-old child run down the wing in a blank kit, surrounded by veteran teammates acting as moving billboards for an offshore crypto casino. It is an incredibly stark image of the ethical friction currently baked into the sport.
It really is. We heavily regulate the industry to protect minors from the addictive nature of gambling, yet the ecosystem of the sport those minors idolize relies entirely on the capital generated by that exact industry.
And that ethical friction is acutely felt by the fans in the stands who are kind of trapped in the middle. We reviewed this deeply honest post on the fan blog Hyperfocused, written by a Nottingham Forest supporter.
Yeah, he articulated the exhausting cognitive dissonance required to be a fan in this era.
He openly acknowledged that the influx of cash from their offshore gambling sponsor gave the club the financial leverage under PSR to sign the players necessary to achieve their best run of success in 2 decades.
It's an impossible bind.
It really is. You sit in the stadium, your team's new £40 million striker scores the winning goal, and you know his transfer fee was funded entirely by the betting logo on his chest.
As the blogger wrote, it is hard to square this one off morally. You see the societal damage of the industry, but the regulatory structure of the league dictates that if you don't take their money, your club suffers.
What's fascinating here is how the specific medium of the shirt, the exact same mechanism being exploited by offshore betting firms, is simultaneously being reclaimed by grassroots communities to achieve the exact opposite social outcome.
Yes. As you move down the football pyramid, away from the billion-pound global portfolios, local clubs are actively rebelling against this hyper-commercialization.
Yeah, we saw a brilliant example of this in Bristol.
Yeah.
So Bristol Rovers and Bristol City are bitter, historic rivals. But their community foundations united entirely off the pitch to support Talk Club, which is a local charity focused on male mental fitness.
They basically subverted the traditional commercial dynamic. They created a limited edition collaborative shirt designed specifically to generate community impact rather than corporate broadcast visibility.
And the granular details of this initiative are incredible. The physical fabric of the shirt was manufactured using 16 recycled plastic bottles.
Wow.
But the behavioral mechanics are what truly stand out. The funds generated support Talk Club FC, a grassroots project that physically embeds mental health into the ritual of playing football.
How does that work in practice?
Well, before the players even step onto the pitch, they gather for a check-in, openly stating how they are feeling emotionally on a scale out of 10.
I love that.
Then they play the match, and then they check out with another number. And the front of shirt sponsor for this kit isn't a crypto casino, it is Clearhead, which is a local non-alcoholic beer brand explicitly created to promote mental well-being.
That is perfectly thematic, because football dressing rooms have historically been these hyper-masculine environments where emotional vulnerability was viewed as a weakness. By integrating a mental health check-in into the literal fabric of the match, they are using the visibility of the shirt to normalize communication for a demographic that statistically struggles the most with mental health issues.
And we're seeing this exact philosophy moving upward into the elite leagues as well.
Right, like Brentford.
Yeah, Brentford is a stable Premier League club, and they recently launched their mentality clothing range. The kits feature bespoke designs with the message, remember, be kind to your mind.
The pun is great since they are the bees.
Exactly. And crucially, they structured the financials to back it up. 10% of all proceeds are funneled directly into their community sports trust to deliver free, clinical mental well-being programs for local residents.
They are acknowledging that while they operate as a global entertainment franchise on the weekends, they remain a civic institution from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
They possess the unique cultural leverage required to reduce stigma within their immediate geographical footprint.
And we've documented this across multiple levels of the sport in the sources. Kings Lynn Town had a commercial sponsor who actively chose to donate their premium, paid front-of-shirt real estate to the 8.56 Foundation, which is a men's mental health charity.
That's amazing.
Maidenhead United stepped onto the pitch wearing shirts supporting KLM, the campaign against living miserably.
It really begs a deeply personal question for you as a listener. The next time you walk into a club shop and hand over your credit card for a replica shirt, what exactly are you endorsing?
That's the million-dollar question.
Are you buying the historic badge embroidered over the heart, or are you paying to become a walking billboard for the corporate logo printed across the stomach?
The modern fan is caught in that duality. By wearing the shirt, you are intrinsically endorsing both the community history and the corporate reality, whether you intend to or not.
So what does this all mean? We have covered a massive amount of conceptual ground today.
We really have.
We established a baseline in the early 90s, observing local manufacturing businesses selling copiers and loggers to fans sitting in their own postcodes. We dissected how a shift toward a global broadcast audience gentrified those shirts into billion-pound portfolios dominated by sovereign wealth airlines and tech conglomerates.
Yep.
We exposed the PSR regulations that force mid-table clubs into a digital Trojan horse scenario, smuggling offshore gambling advertisements into restricted foreign markets. And finally, we highlighted the inspiring grassroots counter-movement utilizing that exact same polyester real estate to fund mental health charities and reclaim their civic identity.
The overarching takeaway for you listening is that this investigation extends far beyond the boundaries of sports.
Absolutely.
The 30-year evolution of the football shirt serves as a profound, tangible lens into the mechanics of global advertising and the relentless monetization of human attention. It illustrates exactly how international capital bypasses domestic regulations. But crucially, it also proves that local communities still retain the power to carve out highly visible spaces for social good within a hyper-commercialized world.
It is a battle for the soul of an entire culture, fought and negotiated on a few square inches of fabric. And I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to mull over.
Okay.
As we noted, the Premier League will officially enforce a ban on front-of-shirt gambling sponsors starting in the 2026-2027 season.
Right, that's coming up.
When that ban hits, those 11 clubs currently relying on betting money are going to desperately need to replace a £100 million financial void just to satisfy the league's profit and sustainability rules.
They still have to compete with the billionaire.
Exactly. So who steps up to buy that real estate? Will the market simply be flooded by lightly regulated cryptocurrency exchanges or maybe controversial AI data scraping firms looking for global legitimacy?
It's a very real possibility.
As a sport, are we genuinely cleaning up the shirt, or are we just preparing to swap one ethical dilemma on the chest for another? The next time you watch a match, look past the badge and read the billboard. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.